Welcome back for part two, the second day starting your land clearing business from scratch, and this one is going over what you're going to need for the bank. So a lot to cover on this one. A few things I did leave out in the past video too about the quotes. Again, it's hard to cover everything, so if you have questions, feel free to reach out into the chat, direct message, and just let me know. I'm happy to answer anything and help any way I can. I feel like we're in this together. You know, you're trying to do it. You need that American dream. So do I. Let's help each other, build each other up. So, first things first on your business. You need to start an LLC quickly. For me, I saw on YouTube a advertisement for Bizee LLC. That's Bizee LLC. That I was hesitant at first because, you know, some of those promoters, they're like, ah, man, this is, you know, the best thing since, you know, sliced bread. And, you know, you hear that all the time and you kind of worry, like, man, is this real? Is it a scam? Is it legit? No, I looked it up. It's legit. A lot of good reviews. And I'm no way affiliated with Bizee right now. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. I'm just saying what worked for me. So if you're old school and you want to go paperwork and get that done through the state and file it manually, by all means do it. But I'm an old school farmer and I have new school tech. So why not use that tech to my advantage? So let's talk about Bizee. So we got in, set up an account with Bizee, filled out some information about what I wanted, my business name, and they took all the rest of that work and they did it themselves. I did have to pay state filing fees. The state filing fees for Texas is $300, and then I added on a few extra benefits to the Bizee LLC profile I created. So I asked for tax assistance, like an agent to assist me during tax season, and I asked for a domain so I could create my website. So I know as far as starting out, my prior videos I talked about day one. This was something I did well in advance just because I've been thinking about it for a long time. So I created my LLC. That took 5 days. 5 days to complete, and I got my LLC confirmed. The state sent me my documents, everything that I needed digitally. So Bizee had all that in my digital profile. I was able to download it and fill it out as I needed to. And so before you even go to the bank, make sure you have your LLC formed already, because if you're trying to get like a startup business loan, they're going to want that. Some mistakes I made along the way. Man, if I would have made things different when I first started out. Percentage of ownership. So it's me, my wife, and my father, who is a retired veteran. So I put myself at 50% on the ownership, and I put 25 for my wife, 25 for my dad, and boy was that a mistake. So going into the bank the other day and trying to set up my appointment to try and get my business account set up for, we're going to go through that process with the quotes and look and see what we needed, which I'll cover here in just a second on the information you're going to want to take to them. Because I had it at 50% for me, 25 for my wife, 25 for my dad, they have to be on the application to apply for the loan. So if you feel like you might have some kind of iffy history with their finances, unfortunately, there were some on my father's, then it could impact your approval process, and which it did mine. So the cool thing though is I contacted Bizee and I let them know I need to make a change to my ownership percentage, and I put myself at 90% and my wife at 5% and my dad at 5%, because anything 20% or higher, they're going to have to be on the application and business account when you open that up. So keep that in mind. Whatever you're trying to do, and if you feel like you got the good credit for it yourself, do it yourself. If you need assistance, then make sure you're getting people who have accredited past history of their credit score. So keep that in mind. Now we're getting into what you're going to need. So this is what I created. I created a document to go over, and I put a nice little cover paper here of my old logo. And I told them what I needed. So loan request, use of funds, $75,000 loan request is what I wanted. Equipment trailer, I quoted on the high end just because of what we talked about earlier. Happy and Big Techs were saying they wanted 11,000, 12,000, but I really just needed the 6,000. So aim high. If they come back and counter, they always counter down. So you're gonna do yourself better by kind of aiming a bit mid-range and then working it way down a little bit lower from there. And then we're looking at monthly rental, 15,000. That gives me roughly 2 months of capital that I can use, as well as equipment costs, so $8,000, fuel, etc., that I can use for 2 months to try and get my business going. And then we have our business overview, just talking about what your business does. A lot of people have no clue what forestry mulching is, land clearing is. They have no idea. And growing up on the farm, it was very common for us to go out there and do it ourselves with our tractors. But doing it as a business and doing it as a service for customers out there, there's not very many people that know about stuff like that. And so that's where you got to bring yourself to that market and tell them what you can provide. So our mission statement: to provide affordable, professional land clearing and site preparation services that help property owners take pride in their land without overpaying large contractors. Again, there's big companies out there that do it. Windmill farms, they clear all that stuff, and they're the only ones that are probably out there doing it in your area. So my area, I'm gonna take advantage of that. So you need that. Core services, what services you offer, who you're targeting, your market need. Going back to operation plans, what my strategy is. Again, low risk. I'm trying to rent my equipment so I don't have to worry about the cost of a monthly payment, even if I'm slow. Marketing and sales strategy, how I'm trying to do that now. My experience, can't talk again. So things that you're going to want to tell them: you've been experienced, you're in this. Even if you're not, man, just put something down there. Let them know that you're serious about this. This document will make them know that you're serious. They will take you serious rather than just walking in there saying, I don't know, this is what I think I can do. So we talked about the costs of the quote, what it's going to cost us. Average job, roughly $1,200. That's on the low end. Given the acreage, given the size, the terrain, the thickage of the foliage, you could end up costing a job there, like maybe, or charging a job for $2,800 or $3,000. It could go up. 1,200 is the lowest, and it goes up from there. So your year one projection, at least for me, what I've projected out and I've looked at, 172,800. If I were to start right now and start getting jobs, at least 1 to 2 jobs a week going forward, I will be paying off that rental easy, no problem. I'll be paying off this loan easy, no problem. But I got to get myself out there. I got to start putting market to floor, getting people to see my website, getting people to see my ads, and so forth. Year 2 projection, going in and letting them know what my year 2 projection is going to look like, year 3, and then repayment ability. So making sure I know what I'm going to be able to repay, and what my exit strategy is going to be if I, for whatever reason, fail. I'm not going to fail. I don't know how to. So you got to have that attitude. And then putting conclusion in there, just letting them know, again, your passion. You're ready to go and get to work and do this. So have that ready. If you need help, we have technology. ChatGPT. Go there and just ask it. Give me a good outline for a bank proposal for setting up or doing a startup fund for my LLC. So go there, get this information first, get your quotes, use some research in ChatGPT if you need to, put that together, take some time, make sure it looks right. If you need help and want me to look it over with you, just make sure everything looks good, just throw me a chat, let me know. I'm happy to do that. So our next one that we're going to cover is what happened at the bank. And some of this information is going to bleed through. So, all right, guys. Thank you again. Follow for the next. Bye.